beautiful souls, it's Natalie Vivian, and this is part 1B of I'm Expecting a Miscarriage. So I do apologise, I ran out of space on the last video, so I've had to record another one. So I was saying the other metaphysical reason can be to do with your baby, your child, chooses to come back to you at a different time in your life, or it chooses to come back to you via a different route, via somebody else. These are all kind of things I've been researching. There's also been a Buddhist lady that was explaining that sometimes some life karma, somebody lived but died too young before, but they still had a little bit of life left. They may experience that in utero, and that might be part of the karma for the child, so a part of their journey. So basically there's a variety of metaphysical reasons why you can miscarry. I could relate to a fair few about, one of them was the environment not feeling, sorry about that, the environment not feeling entirely safe, and stresses and things like that. Also, I was a bit afraid of having another challenging child. I love my daughter very much. She has autism and PDA, so if you have any experience of that, you realise how challenging that can be. And I wondered how I would cope with the demands of another child like that, if that was to be the case. And again, the environment I was sharing. So the process for me at the moment is I'm relieved, if I'm honest with you, because of the situation I was in wasn't very positive for bringing in a baby into the world. So it's a relief that I'm not having to put a child through that situation, and it's a relief that I'm not putting myself through that situation as well. So at the moment, I'm experiencing quite a lot of relief about it. My grieving hasn't started yet, but as you know, I'm only expecting a miscarriage. I haven't had it yet. So I imagine my grief will then start then, because at the moment I still get positive pregnancy tests. I just did it to see, but they said it would show positive for a while. So I guess what I'm saying is nothing has really changed for me other than I've just been told a whole lot of information. So nothing has, actually physically materialized yet for me, but obviously it's still to come, which is why I'm doing a diary of this really delicate phase. It's not something I've seen on YouTube. People kind of talk about the experiences afterwards, but not in the phase. So at the moment I'm bleeding a little bit, and it could just happen any moment. It could get really heavy, really painful, and I could pass the gestation sac, the pregnancy, biological materials, and the baby. Like, everything could happen any moment. It's a really strange phase to be in. I've tried to think about what I could do to help myself when that happens. So things like, we've just moved actually, so that was another big stress, but making sure that the place is clean and tidy and organised, because I would hate to be lying there in pain and everything's a mess. That would make me feel worse. So I've been doing that, and have been a bit exhausted, but I'm like, no, I've got to try and do what I can when I can. And another thing that's been really good for me is I have opened up to all my friends. My daughter found out I was pregnant by accident, really. She found the pregnancy test and thought I had COVID. So she kind of knew from day one, because at the time it just felt like the right thing to share. She was running around going, "You've got the virus, I'm staying away from you." And I thought, oh dear. In that moment, it was like, should I tell her it means something else or not? So I did share. So she's known all along, and she has told everybody, like, even if I don't know them that well, she's telling them in the street. So yeah, I've got that to deal with. I'm telling everyone, but you will be surprised at just how many of my friends that I never knew actually have opened up and shared, oh, I've had that too. I've had a natural miscarriage, or I had the surgery, or I used the medication, and just so many people are opening up to me about it. So it's really good. I've been having friends drop in, buy me bars of chocolate. So I wouldn't be afraid to share your news with anyone, because if you've got good friends like me, they'll be really supportive. And if everybody knows, because you've got a daughter like Hannah, then, they just give you well wishes anyway. It's not something that has been a problem, really. So I'm really apprehensive about the scan on Friday. My worst case scenario is they tell me that the baby is still living, but it's not viable, and then they kind of want me to do something about that. Then, of course, I am going to have all kinds of ethical issues that, I think it's very unlikely I'm going to be in that situation. It's not going to happen. But that is my biggest fear, really. Or the other fear is that they say that, oh, you will need some kind of procedures, and I don't really want that. So I'll be staying away from that. I will keep you posted. So I'm just trying to look after myself, really, make sure the place is lovely. I've been having lots of treats. When I was pregnant, I was very good, especially when I was trying cutting back on the sugar and things like that, because I have got PCOS, which sugar is a real no-goer if you want to balance your hormones. So I have broke that now. I have had quite a lot of sugary treats because people are buying them for me, and quite frankly, I'm delighted. I'm wonderful. I'm really enjoying this chocolate. And today I have had a little sleep in the afternoon because I've been quite tired out, but like I said, I have been avoiding that. So every time I've been feeling good, I've been trying to make the most of it. I'm trying to stay local, not book any big plans. I'm taking my daughter to her father's tomorrow, but my parents have offered to drive us, which is lovely because it's quite a long train ride. It's just so that if anything happens to me, I'm not sort of stuck on a train, oh dear. But I will go with lots of pads, and I will take my painkillers. Just apprehensive. I will let you know how it goes on Friday, or if anything has happened before then. Like I say, I'm just feeling a sense of relief because it was quite a stressful situation, but I'm aware that I will have to do my grieving. You can get a lost baby certificate, so I will be applying for one of those, and I will be getting memorial for the child. I had all kinds of, I knew that, I felt at one point that my daughter too felt that I had two babies, and I did always know that one wasn't doing very well, and that was the girl, but there was a very strong male energy that was doing well. So that's really unusual. I don't know if I'm going to go and find out, oh, there was one they didn't see and he's still there. I really don't know. I think that's unlikely as well. But it does make me wonder, there has been this strong male energy with me, and maybe he's the one that's going to get me through this, even if he wasn't in utero, which I believed he was. But maybe he's just a strong male energy and spirit that's come to see me through it all. He has been very strong, but the girl was struggling for a long time, and we did know that. Ivy, her name came to me as Ivy. So maybe it was just Ivy all along, and this other one is keeping me through it. But he is very strong. I was a bit worried about how demanding he may be as a baby, but I realised in the end it's kind of a really positive strength that would see me through everything. But anyway, tons of love and light to you. And if you are going through an expected miscarriage, my heart goes out to you. Or if you're going through any kind of thing like this, I know it can be really heart-wrenching. And I think, if your situation hasn't been ideal, then it definitely helps you deal with it. Whereas if your situation was all lovely and then this happens, it's like a real shell shock, So it's just a very odd time. What's going to happen? When is it going to happen? Please don't let there be any more complications. So I'm going to do some chakra healing. I'm going to do some meditations and connections. And I'm feeling really well in myself, actually. So I think that's a positive sign, regardless. Anyway, love and light to you all. Thank you for listening. I will update you on how this goes.